Hey guys, I'm excited to talk to you today about why the bleep are air ambulances or ambulance in general just so darn expensive. It's really a battle of standard procedures between two giant industries with the healthcare industry and the insurance industry. And unfortunately, you get caught in the middle and you a lot of times end up getting stuck with the bill. Um, I'm going to go in and share screen now. And so I think standard webinar uh, etiquette is to wait 2 minutes for last minute people to join in. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I don't want to punish those who actually got here on time. So a little bit about me. My name is Tim Gustafson. I've been an insurance broker focused on retirees, helping with the four main staples of retirement, which is your health insurance, your life insurance, your long-term care options, and also protecting and preserving your money. And I'm going to talk to you today about bridging the gap between your major medical and emergency transportation for people of any age. And spoiler alert, those cards are really stacked against you. A little bit about me. I've got an absolutely beautiful wife. I've got two awesome kids, and I've got the two world's most okayest dogs. One has Tourette's, I'm pretty sure, and she barks at anything within a 6 mile radius, but we love her anyway. The two quotes that I want to give you just to help paint a picture of who you guys are talking with is those who with good intentions make promises, those with good character keep them. And so I always want to, deliver on what I promise and not drop the ball in any way. And I really try to hold myself to that standard. And then the other one, it's more of a mantra for me. I'm by far not perfect, but I give it my best shot is to live your life so that those that know you but don't know Christ want to know Christ simply because they know you. Um, and so that's a little bit about me. Just for joining the webinar today, I did want to give you guys something. So thank you so much for attending. I'm going to give you guys a free membership to American Senior Benefits Association. Not really giving it to you, it's free anyway, but I want to let you guys know about it and have you guys join it, and I can take care of that for you. American Senior Benefits Association is like a non-politically affiliated AARP. You give great resources. You don't have to be a senior. I'm 40. They let me in, but they do really have some really great benefits. So you can join a passport program, which a lot of Fortune 500 companies offer that to their employees as an added incentive for working for them. So you get discounts on flowers and hotels and rental cars and shopping, from electronics to cars to anything, travel discounts. And so you can go to myambadiscounts.com. AMBA is my parent company. It stands for Association Member Benefits Advisors. So you join this association, you get these benefits, and you just type in AMBA Savers, plural, as your activation code. There's also an app you can do on your phone. For those that like to do that, just go to the Google Store or Apple Store or Google Play, download the Passport app. And again, the activation code is AMBA Savers. So in order to really appreciate the solution, I really want to tell you how comprehensive and want you to comprehend the problem. So again, I've been in the insurance industry since 2005. I put people on the best insurance programs available and still see them getting stuck with 40, 50, $60,000 bills for air ambulance. And I couldn't believe it, couldn't figure out why. So I really went down the rabbit hole so you don't have to. And so private insurance or Medicare usually goes off of usual and customary charges, which are about the cost 7 to 10 years ago, which we are now experiencing this thing called inflation. So you know how much of a gap that there's going to be there in the coverage. We've really been in a healthcare crisis for quite some time. There's really 6 different health insurances. There's Medicare, there's the VA, there's TRICARE. Thank you to any veteran that's listening to this. The Affordable Care Act or the Obamacare plans, Medicaid, which is the state health program for people with low income, and then private insurance that you can purchase yourself or through your work. I know another popular option are those health cost programs that aren't really quite insurance, but does help keep within people's budgets. The problem is with these that most of them are government programs. They constantly borrow from money from each other and always scream that they are underfunded. And so when that happens, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to deny claims or reduce benefits. Now, I've never had anybody in a live seminar gasp, insurance companies deny claims. I don't think that's shocking information. I think it's almost common knowledge at this point, which is a little bit on the sad side. Ambulance services, this is that confusing language that Medicare uses, so that reduction of or denial, they built that in the language. They always say could or may, they never say they will cover it for you. More things to know is, in a normal series of events, if an emergency situation happens, you call 911, a ground ambulance is going to pick you up, and they're going to bring you to the nearest geographical hospital. If that hospital is not equipped to handle your emergency need, whether it's a head trauma from a fall or a heart attack or stroke, something major like that, they're going to have you sign, or the next of kin sign a Medicare benefit or advanced benefit beneficiary notice of non-coverage, or an ABN form. That makes you 100% financially responsible if the insurance company does deny the claim. Now, Medicare finally, I did find it on their website, inclusive language. They have the word will. Unfortunately, it's not to your benefit either. It says if prior authorization isn't approved and you continue to get these services, Medicare will deny your claim. So finally found the inclusive language, but it's not to your benefit. Surprise, surprise. Now, if you drive around and you ever see an ambulance, I do want you to look out. This is something you'll notice. I didn't really not start noticing it until after I did this research, but there's going to be two set of initials on the side of an ambulance. It's either going to be BLS for basic life support or ALS for advanced life support. ALS is typically not covered by Medicare, and you really have no control on who shows up once you call 911. You just know you call 911, and whoever gets there first is you're grateful for. You need the help. You're not worried about the bill later on, but that can be almost as more devastating than the initial response. Also, going back to the reduction of benefits, if we look at what that meant for the hospitals. So with the hospitals over the last 2 decades, about 1/3 of the trauma centers have closed. So there's 6,093 hospitals, 1,154 trauma centers, and only 834 of those are actually certified. 190 are level one, and so on and so forth from there. So the greater need is not actually getting you to the hospital, but it's getting you to the right hospital. But I do want to give you some stats. So the ground ambulance, about 37 million calls per calendar year. 90% of those are just within 5 miles of your home, which makes sense because most people spend about 90% of their time within 5 miles of their home. Hospitals have been closing, so those rural trips are a little bit longer now. 70% of Americans will have at least one ambulance ride in their lifetime, which I actually thought was a little bit low. I thought that percentage would be a little bit higher. But the sad one is that 1 out of 7 of these claims are going to be denied. And a lot of common reasons is that there will be a willing and capable driver in the house. Air ambulances, without air ambulances, 82 million Americans would not have access to a level 1 or level 2 trauma. They do about 500,000 annual calls per year. 60% of those are from hospital to hospital. 40% are from the scene of the incident or the accident to the initial hospital in the first place. That's going to be an important detail here in a little bit. And then this is the big bomb that I dropped my jaw. I could not believe when I read this, but due to the Deregulation Act of 1978, the only governing body for air ambulances is the FAA. So due to the Deregulation Act of 1978, air ambulances are not classified as a medical expense. They are classified as a common carrier. Therefore, the Department of Insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, any insurance company, they have as much influence over the pricing as they would over Southwest Airlines or Delta. And unfortunately, approximately 39% of these claims are actually denied by major medical. So you have the healthcare industry that they created an oath, the Hippocratic Oath, that they're going to preserve life. If they think there's a 1% better chance that you'll survive, they're going to call in that helicopter. And then the insurance companies have the luxury of playing Monday morning quarterback. They sit back and relax and they look at and scrutinize every service that you had, everything that was done to see if there's any way they can deny the claim. For the trauma centers, level one, that's really where you want to be. Obviously, the longer you have to go to a place, the more expensive it's going to be. Level one, they have everybody on site. They have 24-hour surgeries going on and everything like that. Level two, same services as a level one, but they may not have a research facility. They may not have as many specialists on calls. Level three, there's really no specialized specialists. They're going to kind of keep you stable before they can move you to a higher care center. And then level four, if you need anything more than a Band-Aid or Tylenol, it's almost like a school nurse type hospital. Um, they're going to be transporting you to a higher level one as well. There's a concept called the golden hour. This is the hour immediately after some kind of health event happens, which medical treatment is desired to prevent irreversible internal damage and optimize the chance of survivorship is the most effective. So usually there's an car accident, you have 1 hour to start receiving care. If you have a heart attack, a stroke, same type of concept. We did not interrupt this for a T-Mobile commercial. This is actually a map of the United States where the areas in pink is the only way you could get to a hospital is by using an air ambulance in that golden hour. It is physically impossible to drive somebody to get you to an actual hospital within 1 hour drive. So air ambulance is absolutely necessary. And that makes sense because if we look at this, these are the level one traumas. Obviously, populations are a little more dense in the east and is a little bit more sparse in the west. But you can see, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, they don't even have a single level one trauma in it. So they really have to do air ambulance to get you there. The cost of ground ambulances, the first one on the top there is about $1,700. Again, the insurance company paid usual and customary charges, which was $375, leaving over $1,300 left. Lower one, that top one was not, it was a 20 miles. The bottom one is 9 miles, a little bit lower, $1,400. Insurance company paid a little bit more, 14 or 460, leaving over $1,000 bill. Transportation for a 4 mile transport there on the left, that was a $1,300 bill. And then the air ambulance on the right, $41,000. This is about 10 years ago. That was the average cost. Average cost now is above $54,000. Insurance company paid a great deal, $33,000. That's a huge percentage of a payout on a bill. But that still left $8,300, which would do quite a damage to some people's nest egg, quite a bit. But the good news is, now that I've shared with you how big and complicated the problem is, let me just share with you how easy the solution is. And that solution is MASA. MASA stands for Medical Air Services Association. Their motto is any ground, any air, anywhere. They do not have any contracts with specific ambulance services. Their rules are as long as the insurance or as long as the ambulance service accepts money as payment, they will go ahead and cover that for you. So anyone and everywhere. They've been around since the air ambulance got deregulated. They've been around since 1974, A+ superior rated with a Better Business Bureau. And they are the one that I feel most comfortable with, and that's who I have for me and to protect me and my family. So this is meant to be a supplement to your health insurance, not a replacement of your health insurance. So you add this to it. It is for anyone that is over the age 18 can purchase the plan. Under age 18 can be covered as long as the parents are covered. And the most common claim is going to be a ground ambulance that's less than 20 miles, which makes sense because there's 37 million of those, only 500,000 air ambulances. Obviously, you're going to be paying more of those. Important thing is that there's no dollar limit to the transportation while you're at home or while you're traveling. So there is no travel restriction. I know that there's a lot of competition out there. MASA, you can see all the check marks. I apologize. I think this is a little bit blurry. I think it's a little bit clear on my website. But it covers the ground ambulance, air ambulance, all of it. The very common ones for RVers, at least, would be the FMA Assist, the Federal Motor Coaster Assist, the MedJet, Good Sam Travel Assist, and then also the Emergency Assistance Plus. Those are blocked out for air ambulance because they only cover hospital to hospital. They do not get you to the initial hospital in the first place. The only other one that does is SkyMed. I read the service agreement for each and every single one of these, which was like a visual horse tranquilizer. That was a long day and a lot of caffeine was ingested. But with the SkyMed, it does have to be approved by SkyMed and arranged by their medical director. And also that initial call for the air ambulance has to be initiated by a licensed physician. Now, I do not know any first responders that are licensed physicians. Mass is very clear in their service agreement that they cover whether it is initiated by a licensed physician or a first responder, just something I felt a lot more comfortable with. These are the benefits for the two different plans that Massa offers. Massa has offered the Platinum plan for quite a few years now. They did just recently, within the last year, come out with this Massa Shield that has 8 additional benefits. I'm going to go through each one of these in detail. And so, air ambulances, so any ground air ambulance, whether it's fixed wing or rotary, like helicopter, would be covered by Massa. Hospital to hospital coverage is covered. Ground ambulance is covered. Organ retrieval, so they'll bring you to the organ or the organ to you, is covered. Repatriation, so if they're going to bring you to a hospital that's nearer to your home after the emergency situation has been somewhat remedied. Companion transportation, so in the event of an air ambulance or even a ground ambulance, space permitting, they'll allow a family member or a friend to accompany you. Most air ambulance companies that I call charge a flat $2,500 fee for that, and Massa covers that for you. Hospital visitor transportation. So if you're a husband and wife and the husband's out on business and a medical event happens and he's hospitalized for more than 100 days and it's or 100 miles away from home and it's going to be more than 7 days, Massa will pay for a round trip ticket for the wife to go visit or vice versa. Vehicle or RV return. This is one of the best success stories I have is we had a client in Chandler, Arizona that was taking his RV up to Alaska. This was pre-pandemic. Got just north of the Washington border off the I-5 there, ended up having a heart attack and had to be airlifted from Canada to Seattle. So it was an international air flight. The wife was able to join him with a companion transportation, successfully had heart surgery, which of course his Medicare insurance covered, not his Massa. Massa covered the transportation costs. After about 14 days there in the hospital, Massa actually flew both the husband and wife back to Arizona so he could see his own cardiologist. And Lord and behold, their RV was parked in front of their house. The only bill that Massa did not pay was the HOA fine for having the RV parked in front of the house prior to them being there. A minor minor return. I always use Disney World as the example. If you take the grandkids or kids to Disney World and you buy lunch and you look at the receipt and you have a heart attack because you just realize how much that cost on top of the outrageous price of the tickets, rather than just pinning a $20 bill on the kid's collar and wishing them the best of luck, not only would Massa fly them anywhere in the country to get to safety, but they would also hire a qualified attendant to fly with them. Mortal remains transportation. I didn't see the value in that until February of 2020. I had a client die that lived in Phoenix. They died in Los Angeles, and it cost $11,000 for that 356-mile transport, which I think is criminal. Patient return transportation. So if you are hospitalized more than 100 miles away from home and you get released from the hospital, Massa will actually pay for your commercial flight to get back to the nearest commercial airport to your home. And then pet return as well, same rule applies as the minor. They will hire a qualified attendant to fly with them if there's a medical emergency while you're traveling with your fur babies. So the Platinum membership, so again, joining ASBA, American Senior Benefits Association, you get a special discounted price. So your price for the Platinum on the monthly basis would be $27 a month for an individual, $35 a month for a family plan. A family is defined by husband, wife of any capacity and any legal child that is claimed as a dependent on their tax return up to age 26 if they're a full-time student. There is a 5-year option, so you make one payment and that'll give you 5 years worth of coverage. It's $1,305 for an individual or $1,755 for a family plan. And then if you guys are over age 50, this would be husband and wife, both over age 50, there is a charter lifetime membership option, which would be one payment and you get these benefits for your lifetime plus some extras that I'll go over at the end. That's $2,900 for an individual and $3,900 for a family. The additional benefits that the Shield offers is that they cover grandchildren and great-grandchildren transportation protection. That would be for ground ambulance, does not cover air ambulances. But we had a success story of that already. We had people that purchased this plan, I think in Texas, I believe their granddaughter was in Tennessee, wasn't it with them, wasn't in the same state. Granddaughter was playing soccer, ended up breaking her leg, had to take an ambulance. That was the first bill that was in. Massa paid that ambulance bill, and that actually satisfied the deductible for their kids. That was pretty nice. COVID quarantine protection. So it's not you necessarily have to be COVID, but any pandemic, if you're traveling outside the United States and you have to be quarantined for any reason, this usually is a 7 or a 10-day quarantine where you can't leave your hotel room. Those are an additional cost. While you're there, you can't, go out of the house and go to a restaurant. So you have to have room service or DoorDash, something like that. And this would pay up to $2,500 to help offset those expenses. Medical payment advisors. This one I'm so excited about. This was something that was brought by you guys, the platinum members that purchased this, people that had these plans. They go, you know what? This would be great if we had this. And so if a lot of times if there's a major medical event that happens, you start getting all these bills flooding in. You don't know which ones satisfy the deductible, which ones you have to pay, or you need to be rebuild or anything like that. And so you can send all over the bill, and they'll give you an itemized list of how to handle the said bills. And then hospital private room upgrade. So usually you get a semi-private room. This will pay up to $1,500 per year for you to have your own private room. And then this would actually cover non-emergency transportation cost as well. So once you get to the hospital and that's all done, usually if it's something major, you may have to go to a rehab hospital or a skilled nursing facility or a long-term care facility, or even getting back home. May need a specialized vehicle to do that. And this would cover up to $500 in the event you need a non-emergency transport after a hospital stay. Extended hospital stay incidences. If you're in the hospital for more than 7 days, a lot of times family members are visiting you. They may have to use the cafeteria or do other type of food type things. This will reimburse up to $500 for those type of incidentals. And then companion return as well. If you're being flown from hospital to hospital, and this is a long travel, the companion return, Massa will pay for the commercial flight for the spouse or companion that's with you. Monthly cost for this is $39 a month, or at least your monthly cost for this is $39 a month for an individual and $49 a month for a family plan. The Shield is $2,160 for a single, for the 5-year plan, or $2,700 even for the family. And again, charter membership for the Shield, again, it must be over the age 50. It's $3,900 for the individual, or $4,900 for the husband and wife. And additional benefits for 5-year or lifetime plans. So these are the additional benefits above and beyond the monthly ones that I've gone over. You would have a travel advisor. This was very popular during the pandemic. I had a few clients that were scuba divers and they still wanted to go to the Caribbean, but had no idea what kind of mask restrictions or what kind of things they would be looking at once there was boots on the ground as far as testing and all that. With one phone call, they were able to get all of those questions answered. They do a physician search to find, English-speaking physicians along your route. Emergency relay services. So if you are international, a lot of, African safari or something might be hard to get information to the family. They help relay all of that information. They do an attorney search if that's something you need. Translation services, foreign emergency currency advance, 24-hour nurses hotline, concierge service. And then I don't know if you guys remember those old school medical bracelets that whoever designed those never had arm hair because that removed it. I had one that said asthma growing up. These are not like that. These are really the next generation ones. They're a very comfortable rubber hypoallergenic band, and they have a steel-plated QR code. So anybody with a phone or tablet can actually scan that and be able to pull up a website that has any information that you put on there, that you have complete control of that information. So you can list who your insurance is, what medications you're taking, what medications you're allergic to, anything that's proven in your medical history. Massa is worldwide coverage as well. It does not cover Antarctica. There are no hospitals or ambulances in Antarctica, but it is worldwide coverage. You are covered automatically anywhere in the United States, Canada, Mexico, or the Caribbean without letting them know. But if you do travel over to Europe, or you travel to do an African safari, or over to Asia, you do have to submit your itinerary 14 days prior to travel. I want to thank you guys so much that you can use this to scan, go to my website. I think there'll be a link down below as well. This number, the 602-391-8358 is my cell phone. So feel free to text that if you have any questions. My email address is there for any questions as well. And then obviously, I just want to thank you guys so much for your time today. I know you probably had a million other things you'd rather do than hear somebody drone on about insurance and whatnot. But thank you very much for your time and attention. Please reach out if you have any questions.